Hi guys, I'm author Stacey McAnulty. I wrote the books The Miscalculations of Lightning Girl and The World Ends in April. Today I'm here to tell you about my new book, Millionaires for the Month. Okay, now before I tell you some of the background on this book, I have a question for you. Would you rather have $1 million right now or the value of a penny doubled after 30 days? $1 million now or the value of a penny doubled after 30 days? Well, what would a penny doubled for 30 days look like? Well, day 1, of course, is a penny. Day 2 is 2 pennies. Day 3 is 4 pennies. By the time we get to the end of the week, it's not that impressive. We're at 64 cents. But at the end of 2 weeks, we are at $81.92. What about at the end of 3 weeks? That is $10,000. $10,485.76. And at the end of 30 days, it is $5,368,709.12. So I ask you again, would you rather have $1 million now or $5,368,709.12 in 30 days? I guess if you want more money and are willing to wait a month, you will take the penny doubled, right? Okay, now let me tell you about the book. Millionaires for the Month stars Felix and Benji, 2 7th graders who are on a field trip to New York City. They're in Central Park when they stumble across a wallet. They open the wallet and learn that it belongs to a tech billionaire Laura Friendly. So they decide that it's okay to borrow $20 from Laura Friendly, she's a billionaire, to buy lunch. So they buy some hot dogs and ice cream. You know, they're growing boys. They're hungry. They return the wallet. They know it's the right thing to do. So they eventually return the wallet. But when Laura Friendly gets her wallet, she realizes that they didn't just return the wallet. They took $20 out of it. So Laura Friendly had thought about giving them a reward for returning the wallet, but she decides that perhaps they need to learn a lesson, especially after Benji claims that, hey, $20 is not a big deal to a billionaire. That's like a penny to regular folks. But we know a penny has value because a penny doubled every day for a month is over $5 million. So Laura thinks about it and she's like, hey, I've got an idea. I am going to give you boys a challenge. And she challenges them to spend the $5,368,709.12 in 30 days. That is the challenge for the boys. If they do it, they spend every cent. She will give them $10 million free and clear with no rules attached. So do you think you could do it? Could you spend that over $5 million in 30 days? Sounds like a fun challenge to try, doesn't it? I'm often asked, where do I come up with the ideas for my books? Well, this one I remember very specifically where I came up with the idea. I was at P.F. Chang's. I was out to eat with my family. I have 3 kids and a husband, and we're sitting around a table in P.F. Chang's waiting for our gluten-free fried rice, and we started talking about money because at this time, the Powerball lottery and the Mega Millions lottery were both worth about $500 million, billion with a B, $500 million each. So my family and I were daydreaming. What would it be like to have $500 million? So we thought, we'd probably take a big vacation, go around the world, maybe buy a bigger house, something with a pool, probably adopt a few more dogs. Those were the kind of things that appealed to my family. But then I started thinking of it as an author and thinking about really what would kids do with all that money. And that is when the seed of the idea for this book was born. Okay, now imagine that I had billions and I gave you the $5,368,709.12 and I told you to go out and spend it. You could probably burn through that money pretty quickly. I mean, there are houses out there that cost, $60 million. A private plane would cost you easily that much. Buying a football team would cost well over your $5 million. So Laura Friendly doesn't want it to be too easy for the boys. Again, she's trying to teach them a lesson. So she gives them a bunch of rules. Now, some of the rules are no buying property, no buying vehicles, no buying jewelry, no buying investments, that kind of thing. Also, with these rules, she makes it even harder because she says you can't buy stuff for other people. And along with that, she makes the whole challenge a secret. So Felix and Benji's parents and friends know that they've gotten this $5 million, but they don't know that the boys are supposed to spend it in a month, and they don't know the boys are not allowed to buy anything for other people. What's that going to look like? If, you had $5 million and you can't buy anything for your brother, your sister, your parent, your best friend, what are they going to think? So those are some of the challenges that I threw onto my characters, Felix and Benji, to make it more difficult, to make it more challenging, and to make it more fun. For all of my books, I do research, and that can look different for every title. But for Millionaires for the Month, most of my research was Google research. You are in my home office, and here I have a computer, and I have the internet, and Googling is just the easiest way to find out a lot of things. So I started looking up prices. What do things cost? How much does it cost to rent a hot air balloon? How much does it cost to buy a racehorse? These were things that I just simply looked up using Google. Now, one of the things that I looked into was how much money could I blow in a weekend in Disney World? Right? We know that Disney World is an expensive trip, but could I spend $1 million in one weekend in Disney World? So I started looking up what's the most expensive room in Disney? What's the most expensive place to eat? How could I really go through a lot of money? So I spent, a couple hours looking at this and gathering the information. Okay, that was fine. That was fun. But then, a couple months later, I started looking into Disney again, not for Felix and Benji, but for me. I wanted to take my kids to Disney World for spring break. And then I started looking at prices. And Disney is an expensive place. But I had this wrong mindset. I was thinking that I had millions of dollars, and I certainly do not have millions of dollars. So as the prices were coming up, my head was not really grasping that this was still a lot of money because I was still thinking of spending millions. So it kind of messed me up a little bit. I'm not looking for the most expensive room when I go to Disney. I'm looking for the cheapest room when I go to Disney. So I had to kind of reset my brain when I was doing my own personal research. Now, fun fact, my family never ended up going to Disney because the pandemic hit and we weren't able to travel anywhere in 2020. Here's a little behind the scenes for you. I love Broadway. Every once in a while I get to go to New York City and see a show on Broadway, but most often I see traveling musicals that come through North Carolina, and I love it. Broadway is one of my pleasures, seeing shows and listening to music, learning the stories. I just love it. So in this book, I decided to put some Broadway references in it. So the names of the main characters are Felix Reynolds and Benji Porter. Reynolds is the last name of Broadway star Andrew Reynolds, and Porter is the last name of Broadway star Billy Porter. So I got to sneak those in there just because of my love of Broadway. These characters are not based on those actors at all, but I just put them in there because I love and really miss Broadway right now. I also have one of the characters' name is Alma Miranda, and that one is for LinManuel Miranda. And one of the teachers, his name is Chenoweth, and that is for Kristen Chenoweth. So I got to put some names in there just to showcase my love of Broadway, and most readers aren't going to notice that unless they hear me talk about it. And the last thing I want to share with you is something that's in the acknowledgments. That's the part at the back of the book where authors get to say thank you. We say thank you to people that helped us create the book, and we say thank you to other people in our lives that have been supportive and have made a difference. Now, of course, I mentioned my editor and agent, but I also mention family members. I usually mention my dogs, but I've done something different in all 3 of my books. I have mentioned a person I have never met, and that person is LinManuel Miranda. He is the creator of Hamilton, and he played Hamilton on Broadway. He was the first actor to play Hamilton in the musical. So as you know, I am a huge Broadway fan and a huge Hamilton fan. And I think LinManuel Miranda is a creative genius. So in all 3 of my novels, I mention him. And here is what I say in Millionaires. And for the 3rd time, I'd like to thank LinManuel Miranda. Your creativity and kindness are inspiring. I've acknowledged Lin in each of my previous novels and will continue to acknowledge him until he acknowledges my acknowledgement. Who am I kidding? I will probably keep doing it after that point too. So, like I said, I've never met Lin, and he has no idea. I keep mentioning him in my book. So if you happen to know him, go ahead and tell him that I'm a big fan and keep writing him into the back of my books. So that is it, guys. That is all I'm going to tell you about Millionaires for the month. Thanks for listening to me, and whatever book you pick up next, I hope it is a fun read. Take care.